Well, this is Steve, and I'm here with Mike Avila, who is running on the Democratic ticket for Allen County Commissioner District 3. Mike, we really appreciate your time today, and I'd like to talk to you a little bit about your campaign. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your background?
I'm born and raised 55 years in Allen County, a lifelong resident of Allen County. Graduated from Bishop Lewis High School, went there after Central Catholic closed. Went to college for a while, came home one summer, and I saw a guy that did masonry work, and he said, "What are you doing this summer?" And I said, "Looking for a job." He said, "You want 10 bricklayers?" I said, "Sure." And I've been in construction for 35 years now. Ended up doing concrete work and then got an apprenticeship in bricklaying. Spent 11 years actually using my trowel, and the last 14 years I've spent representing the Bricklayers Union here in Allen County, and then also am the one of the management committee members for Indiana, Kentucky, one of the 5 people that run the two-state local. Married for 29 years, going on 30, to my wife Kim. I've got 2 grown daughters. Both of them have started on their career now, and that's what leads me here today.
Okay. Why are you running for county commissioner?
Well, I'm running for county commissioner because I see some changes in county government that need to be made through the building trades and through working labor type people. There's some decisions that are made in county government that I don't think are necessarily looking out for the citizens of that group. And a lot of times you say something's got to be done, something's got to be done, and I decided that somebody that's going to make a difference would be me, and so I decided to run. Mm-hmm. I believe 4 years ago there was no opponent, and this year there's an opponent.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about land banking. The county council and the county government commissioners have recently started to set this program up. What are your views on land banking?
My views on land banking, it sounds like a good concept, but I'm not necessarily in favor of the county actually purchasing property for land banking. I think the county should purchase property for their own purpose as far as building or needing structures or that kind of thing. I think the county should facilitate businesses to be able to purchase land, but I would rather see the actual transactions be in the private sector. There's a couple of things that bother me about it. One of them is you may have a piece of property, the county may own a piece of property that they've purchased, prepped, and now they're looking for a tenant or a business coming in is all set to come in, but it's not the location they want, for one thing. I mean, I'm sure if a person's buying a house, just because there's a certain piece of property ready to go doesn't necessarily mean that fits their needs as far as location. I know there would be studies done to make sure the location is adequate, but that part bothers me, and then also having the private sector interacting in purchases with the public sector. I'm for open and transparent government, and I think it could get a little bit cumbersome to have those kind of transactions.
Mm-hmm. Because the part of the issue that runs into open government is that there are certain things by statute that can be kept quiet, that don't have to be in the open, as far as negotiations and things like that. So is that one of your concerns as well?
Sure. I mean, I think the public needs to know, who's buying, who's involved, how is the transaction being made, how much money is actually going for profit or to satisfy the purchase. And I just think if it's done through the private sector, and it just keeps it cleaner and keeps it more of a competitive market, like I think there needs to be for businesses moving in.
And one of the things that we've been talking a little bit about is open government transparency. And I think that you told me that you're a firm believer in that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think the taxpayers should have the ability to see where their tax dollars are being spent, unless it's a national security issue. The county's letting out some information that would be not good for people's safety. That would be one reason not to do that. But other than that, you should be open and transparent. It should be that type of government.
Okay. Well, I have a little laundry list of different topics, and I think the other day when I did the interview with someone, I kind of called it, is it a good idea or not, or a bad idea? So we'll just throw them out and see what you feel.
So you want yes or no answers? Huh?
Well, no, well that's fine. But then if you want to explain a little bit, that's fine too. Yeah. The Maplecrest Road Extension project. Good idea.
I think the timing to actually do the project, it did bring jobs in, but one of the problems I have with that particular project, it brings up a subject, and we have had overruns on projects. It sounds good to have a $40 million bridge that came in at 29 million or whatever the numbers were, but then we start running into overages, and we're up to a couple $1 million in overages. That money doesn't come from that ARRA stimulus money. That has to come out of the county's coffers. That's not good, because that money is for other purposes. I would like to see contracts tighten up that nail down the price better. Especially, they ran into bad ground. You're putting in a bridge, the foundations, you should have investigated the ground, in my opinion. So that part of it, I think, it has not worked out so well. The price is going up. I've talked to a lot of people. They out in that end of town, they're looking forward to having that access. They think it's going to bring business through an undeveloped area. The southeast side of Fort Wayne. There's 469, and that's been a great corridor for development, and it hasn't happened as quickly as what a lot of people think. So there's pros and cons. I think it probably wouldn't have been my choice of things to do, but it's been an 8 or 9 year venture, so it was hard to predict the economy when it was actually going to be done. Sure.
Do you think that the level of federal funding should have been a little bit more on this project? Do you think that should have been fought for?
I think that it's hard to send dollars to the federal government then get them back. I think it would be better to try to stop as much money having to go to the federal government, and then we would have it here. Now, whether or not that's possible, I don't know, but I think the amount of money that they got was adequate.
Mm-hmm. Well, it kind of brings up an interesting discussion that I've heard at the city level. I don't do as much with the county, but I'm sure it's been had at county level as well. One of the things that's always asked when federal dollars are involved in a project is, how much, and the discussion then always inevitably turns to, we're just giving them to them in tax dollars, now we're bringing them back. Mm-hmm. Do you think that we should aggressively go after tax dollars that are available at the federal level, even though they kind of are coming out of our pocket in a sense?
I think we should go after the money, because if we don't get it, somebody else is. That's going to be the case. So it's already there. You have to get it back. But we do have to work with the federal government that we limit, how much money actually goes to the federal government, instead of always having to try to fight to get it back.
Sure. Okay. Property tax caps. It's on the ballot this November to write them into the state constitution. Are you in favor of that?
I think the property tax caps, to write them in the Constitution, that I'm leaning towards not in favor, because once you write it into the constitutional amendment, it's going to stay there forever. I don't think there's enough knowledge about how that tax cap is going to affect everybody's tax dollars in the future. And if it is written in, you can't go back without a lot of votes that would have to be in favor, a strong majority. So you would have to raise there's options in that to raise some other types of local taxes through income to recoup the money that you won't get because of the property tax. I know that it makes it easier to assess the tax, because now you got a set standard, but you still haven't figured out how to assess the property. So I think it's it's a good thing to try for a few more years before you try to implement it into an amendment.
Switch gears a little bit. Casino. Do you think a casino is a good fit for this area? Would you be in support of actively trying to pursue that?
I wouldn't be in support of a casino in downtown Fort Wayne. I would have to look at the options of some of the outlying areas, but if people are going to go to a casino, they will drive a few miles to the outskirts of town. I don't know that that's the type of venue we want downtown. I mean, we've got a nice baseball diamond now and some other things, and I'm not convinced that a casino would be the right fit for downtown Fort Wayne.
Do you think it's a right fit for anywhere in Allen County?
It could be. It could be. You know, there's a lot of people that like to go to casinos, so you know, we represent all people, and you know, we got to see what the popular position would be.
Would you be concerned if one were to come in? Would you be concerned about becoming too dependent on the revenues generated from that?
That's a possibility, but I don't think it would be a major concern, no more than other types of businesses that we depend on.
Okay. Township government. A lot of talk and here the last couple of years about doing away with the township level of government. What are your feelings on that?
I think that township government is important. I think the way it's set up right now, some townships they have a trustee and an advisory board. You know, there's one township that has an assessor. I think that it's fitting the needs of the population right now. People need a local place to go. I don't know if the city or county could respond to the needs. You're just going to end up having the same number of people probably classified within the county government. So right now it's a structure that's set up. I believe it works, so I believe it should stay.